Have you ever been the one who held everything together so well that no one even noticed you were falling apart? Have you ever swallowed your needs for so long that you forgot what it feels like to want something for yourself? And deep down, have you ever wondered if the universe forgot about the one who never complained, never stopped, never asked for help? Virgo, this isn't just another message. This is your reckoning, because the part of you that's been quietly breaking is finally ready to rise. Have you felt it lately, Virgo? That quiet nudge in the background, almost like a whisper just behind your shoulder. You can't quite explain it, but something's shifted. Maybe it's the way your mornings have started to feel different, like time is stretching in front of you, asking you to slow down. Or maybe it's the way certain numbers or songs keep repeating, like little signs nudging you to pause. You've been moving, working, holding it all together for so long, it's easy to miss when the universe is trying to get your attention in the quietest ways. You see, Virgo, your life has been built on precision, on showing up, on solving every problem before anyone else even notices there's one. But right now, that hyper-efficiency, it's not what the universe is asking of you. It's asking you to feel, to reflect, to remember. You're being invited into something deeper, not louder, but more honest. And it's not some big dramatic shift. It's subtle. It's like waking up from a long nap and realizing the room is full of light. You're not being asked to burn everything down. You're just being asked to finally look at what parts of you have been sleeping, what truths you've quietly ignored because there simply wasn't time. But now there is. Time is making space. And the world? It's moving differently now, especially for you. There's an alignment happening, a realignment of who you are and who you've always been underneath the doing, the fixing, the giving. Let's talk about that mind of yours for a second. That brilliant, analytical, endlessly turning mind. It's a gift. But sometimes, even gifts become prisons when they never get to rest. You've spent decades being the one who figures things out, the one who holds the logic, who carries the checklist, who cleans up the mess when everyone else walks away. But here's the question I want you to sit with. When was the last time someone did that for you? When was the last time you let someone in, or even let yourself fall apart for a moment without guilt? Virgo, you are not a machine. You were never meant to carry the weight of the world alone. And yet, that's exactly what you've done, quietly, competently, and without complaint. But just because you can doesn't mean you should. You may not know this yet, but there's a turning point happening beneath the surface of your life. It's not visible, it's not loud, but it's undeniable. You're being asked to shift from constant fixing to quiet receiving, from being the planner to becoming the participant. That takes courage, especially for someone like you who finds safety in knowing, in preparing, in anticipating every variable. But the truth is, the most powerful changes don't come when everything's planned. They come when you surrender, when you allow life to meet you, not just through thought, but through emotion, sensation, intuition. You might be feeling more forgetful lately or less focused. And that's not failure, that's transition. That's your soul asking for stillness, your body asking for space, your spirit reminding you that you don't need to prove yourself anymore. You've already done the hard part. You've built, supported, achieved, endured. Now it's time to receive, to soften, to stop assuming that every moment of pause is wasted time. It's not. Some of the most important shifts of your life will come in the moments you finally let yourself rest. And maybe, just maybe, that version of you that didn't have all the answers, she's the one closest to your truth. So if you're feeling lost lately, good. That means something new is ready to be found. You are not broken. You are in progress. You are not behind. You are exactly where you need to be to rediscover what actually matters. Let me tell you a quick story about someone I met not too long ago. A woman in her early 60s, also a Virgo. She had spent her whole life checking every box. Good daughter, loving mother, top performer at work. On paper, her Her life looked perfect. But in quiet moments, she felt this emptiness she couldn't explain, until one day, she paused. She turned off the noise, sat with herself, and realized she didn't even remember what brought her joy. And that's where her new chapter began, not by doing more, but by doing less. She started gardening, something she used to love but had abandoned. That small act opened a floodgate of forgotten passions. She told me, with tears in her eyes, that the moment she chose joy over obligation was the moment her life truly began again. That's what I want for you. That's what this moment can be. Because the truth is, Virgo, logic isn't everything. Logic builds structures, but it doesn't create warmth. It solves problems, but it doesn't nourish the soul. And you, more than anyone, deserve nourishment now. You've given your energy to people who never said thank you, to systems that never valued your full potential. You've been efficient, dependable, grounded, and all that is beautiful. But it's time for you to be free. Free to not have all the answers. Free to change your mind. Free to dream without asking if it's practical. This isn't recklessness. This is your rebirth. You're not starting over. You're unfolding. And you get to decide what comes next. So if you're still with me, still listening, maybe this is your sign. Not the flashy kind. Not the one written in the stars with fireworks, but the kind that comes quietly. A sign that says, slow down, breathe, and come back home to yourself. Because the world doesn't need another perfect plan. It needs a Virgo who's fully alive. Let's get real, Virgo. There comes a point when you can't keep carrying what no longer fits. You know it. You felt it in your bones. The friendships that have grown silent, the job that drains your joy, the routines that once brought comfort now feel like chains, and yet you hold on, because that's who you've always been, loyal to the end, even when the end has already arrived. But now you're being called to pause and ask the harder question. What are you still holding on to, and why? This isn't a You see, part of your power, Virgo, is your ability to fix. You notice the cracks. You anticipate the breakdowns. You step in before things fall apart. But when all your energy goes to saving what should have been let go a long time ago, you start losing yourself in the process. You start patching holes in a boat that was never meant to sail again. That's not bravery. That's self-abandonment in disguise. And you're too wise for that now. Maybe you were raised to believe that quitting means failure. And that's where we're heading right now. To the edge of what you've outgrown. I want you to close your eyes and picture something. There's a house you've lived in for decades. You know every corner, every creaky floorboard. It's familiar, it's comfortable, but the foundation is cracked. The roof leaks. The walls don't hold heat like they used to. You can keep patching it, or you can step outside, breathe in the fresh air, and imagine what it would feel like to build again. Not because you're running because here's the thing. Staying in what's safe isn't always staying in what's true. And truth, real, soul-level truth, will never feel like suffocation. So if you've been waking up tired, if you've lost your appetite for the life you built, maybe it's not you. Maybe it's just that version of life has expired, and that's okay. It doesn't mean it was wrong. It means it served you, and now it's done. That relationship you keep overgiving to, that project you keep resuscitating, that role you've played. Letting go doesn't mean you don't care. It means you're finally starting to care about yourself just as much as you've cared about everyone else. And that's the shift. That's the real turning point. When you stop measuring your worth by how much you can carry and start honoring how light you're allowed to feel. Because the truth is, Virgo, freedom isn't found in doing more. It's found in releasing what weighs you down. You don't owe your suffering to anyone. You don't have to earn rest. You just have to, and maybe you don't know what's next. That's okay too. Leaving something behind without a clear plan isn't failure. It's faith. And faith is not the absence of thought. It's the presence of trust. In life, in timing, in yourself. You are not walking away from your life. You're walking back toward it. toward the version of you who isn't constantly proving, fixing, or apologizing. And if you need a place to start, let it be this. Write down 3 things in your life that feel heavy. One by one, ask why. Now, take a deep breath. Feel that? That's space. Space you've just reclaimed from what no longer belongs. And that space, it's sacred. That's where your next chapter begins. Let's also talk about something that's rarely said out loud. Sometimes the hardest part about letting go is the silence that comes after. The questions, the doubt. Did I do the right thing? Will I regret this? And the truth is, maybe you will feel that doubt. Maybe it'll come in waves. But that's part of the process. Growth isn't always graceful. Sometimes it's messy, awkward, even painful. But you have to trust that pain with purpose leads to something greater. And Virgo, you are not here to live Virgo. After all the holding on, all the giving, and all the overthinking, now is your moment to reset. You've spent a lifetime doing everything right, or at least trying to. But deep inside, you know there's something more waiting for you, something softer, more genuine, more aligned with who you've become. This isn't about chasing goals or fixing what's broken anymore. This is about allowing yourself to finally come home to peace. You deserve that, and it starts by honoring this very moment, right? I want you to do something simple right now. Grab a notebook or even a scrap of paper. Write down one thing, just one, that you're tired of carrying. Maybe it's guilt for a choice you made decades ago. Maybe it's the weight of responsibility you never asked for. Whatever it is, put it down on paper. Now draw a line right through it. You're not erasing it. You're declaring that it no longer owns you. That one small action, it's a sacred step, a quiet ritual that says, I am allowed to begin again. You don't need a big ceremony. You don't need to wait for a full moon or a perfect moment. All you need is willingness, a tiny crack in the armor. That's where the light starts to seep in. That's where your healing begins. And maybe healing doesn't look how you thought it would. Maybe it's not dramatic. Maybe it's just making tea and sitting in silence. Maybe it's finally deleting that contact. Or maybe it's going for a walk without needing to be productive. Let it be whatever it needs to be. Let it be. For years, you've held yourself to impossible standards. You've been your harshest critic. You've replayed every misstep in your mind like it was on repeat. But Virgo, those days are over. It's time to rewrite the inner dialogue, to speak to yourself with the same tenderness you offer everyone else. You wouldn't judge a friend for feeling tired. You wouldn't shame someone for needing rest. So why do it to yourself? You are allowed to need time. You are allowed to not be okay. You are allowed to begin slow, and something powerful happens when you give yourself that grace. You start to remember who you are beneath the layers. The child who loved to read in the sun. The teenager who believed they could change the world. The adult who still wants something real, even if they don't say it out loud. That version of you is not gone. She's waiting, and she's tired of hiding. Let her speak again. Let her dream again. Let her breathe. Because every time you silence her with logic, with worry, with what ifs, you dim tea. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is admit you want more. Not more stuff, not more chaos, but more meaning, more truth, more depth. You were never meant to skim the surface of life. You were born to feel things fully, to question, to challenge, to understand the world in your own unique way. And for that to happen, you need space. Space from distractions, space from noise, space from roles that never truly fit you. So, this chapter, it starts with a breath. It starts with stillness. And from that stillness, a new path opens. One that doesn't demand perfection, but welcomes presence. One that invites you to trust yourself, not because you've earned it, but because you exist. You don't have to be fixed to be worthy. You don't have to be productive to be valuable. Your existence, just as you are, is enough. And I want you to hear that, not just in your mind, but in your body. I want you to feel the truth of it settle into your bones. Because when you truly believe it, you'll walk differently. You'll speak differently. You'll make choices not out of fear, but from clarity. And when the next decision comes, and it will, you won't choose based on guilt or habit. You'll choose from alignment. That's what this new chapter is about. That's what real healing is. Not perfection, not escape, but alignment. And it's You've already survived the hard parts. You've already proven your strength. Now it's time to shift. From surviving to living. From managing to receiving. From proving to simply being. That's the journey now. That's the sacred invitation this moment holds for you. So breathe, Virgo. Breathe deeper than you have in a long time. This is not an ending. This is a return to softness, to wholeness, to you. And maybe you still feel like you're not ready. Maybe the old doubts creep in when things get quiet. That's okay too. Readiness is a myth sometimes. What matters is the willingness to show up, to your own life, your own healing, your own truth. Let every step be small and sacred. Let every pause be holy. There's no rush, no clock, no finish line. What you're building now isn't just a new routine. It's a new relationship with yourself. One that's rooted in honesty, curiosity, and love. And the best part, let's talk about something most people don't realize, Virgo. Your intuition. Yes, that quiet inner voice you often second guess, override, or explain away with logic. The truth is, your intuition has always been there, whispering quietly beneath the noise, the tasks, the planning. And while others might see you as purely analytical, the real ones know your instincts are razor sharp. You feel when something's off before it happens. You read between the lines before anything is said out loud. But here's this part of you, the intuitive one, the sensing one. She's waking up again. And it's not by accident. The world is shifting. And for those who have spent a lifetime in their heads, the call now is to reconnect with the heart, with the body, with the quiet spaces where truth lives. Think back. Remember the times you just knew something and it turned out to be right. Not because you had proof, but because your body told you. That flutter in your chest, that chill in your spine, that strange peace or tensio. But years of needing to be right, to be the adult in the room, to hold everything together, they can dull that sense. They make you second-guess yourself, push down the signals, bury the knowing. And now, Virgo, the invitation is to bring it back, to relearn how to trust that feeling, to pause long enough to hear it. Start small. Next time you have a decision to make, before you ask 5 people or Google it for hours, sit with it. Close your eyes. What does your body say? Do you feel tight or open? Light? You don't need to explain your inner guidance to anyone. It's yours. It's ancient. It's sacred. And maybe you've lost touch with it a little. That's okay. It's still there, under all the noise, waiting for you to return. You're not just a thinker, Virgo. You're a sensor, a pattern recognizer, a quiet healer. And the more you slow down, the more clearly you'll hear that voice again. Maybe it'll show up as a hunch. Maybe it'll come as a dream, a lyric, or a strange coincidence that keeps repeating. Follow. You're not meant to follow someone else's map. You're meant to follow your own rhythm. And that rhythm? It's already within you. It's just been buried under years of being told to trust logic more than yourself. But not anymore. This is your moment to rewrite that script, to let yourself feel deeply and still know you're grounded, to let your intuition lead and trust that your logic will catch up, not fight back. The two aren't enemies, they're partners. One sees the structure, the other senses the shift. And the more you integrate both, the more powerful you become, not because you're trying harder, but because you're finally aligned. So don't ignore that gut feeling. Don't brush off that little sign you keep seeing. That's not coincidence, that's communication. And Virgo, when you choose to listen, to trust, and to act from that place, you become unstoppable. And in a world that praises logic, spreadsheets, and schedules, choosing to follow your inner knowing can feel radical. But it's not rebellion. It's a return to the deepest parts of yourself that have always known what's right, what's true, and what's meant for you. So next time your body says no, even if your brain says maybe, listen. Next time your chest tightens when you're about to say yes to something you don't want to do, pause. Your body is wise. Your energy never lies. Honor that. So here we are, Virgo, at the end of this conversation, but really at the beginning of something much deeper. You've walked through the heaviness, sat with the discomfort, and opened your heart to something new. That alone is powerful. That alone is progress. Most people move through life on autopilot, but not you. Not anymore. You're waking up. You're tuning back in. And whether you realize it or not, that's a kind of revolution. You're no longer just reacting to life. You're choosing it. And that choice, you don't have to know exactly where it leads. You don't need a 5-year plan or a perfectly outlined vision board. What you need is presence. The willingness to meet yourself where you are again and again, and trust that the next right step will appear when it's time. You are not late. You are not broken. You are not too much. You are enough. And this path you're on, it's sacred because it leads you back home, not to a place or a role or a title, but to your essence, that part of you that knows when to. So let this be your reminder that the work you're doing matters. The inner work, the quiet shifts, the slow unraveling, even when it feels like no one sees it, even when no one applauds. Healing is not always loud, but it is always valuable. And the ripple effect of you choosing to come back to yourself, it's real. You become a safe space. You become light. And that is something this world desperately needs more of. Now, if anything in this message stirred something inside you, I want you to sit with it. Don't rush to distract yourself. Don't brush it off. Instead, ask yourself, what part of this do I need to hear most? What action am I being invited to take? And maybe it's small. Maybe it's just resting more, saying no without guilt, or calling someone you miss. Start there. That's how we build something new, one brave, honest step at a time. And before we close, I want to offer you one more thought. You didn't land here by mistake. The timing of this message, the energy it carries, the fact that it found you, there's meaning in that. You are being called, not to be someone else, not to fix yourself, but to fully remember and embody who you already are. The part of you that is wise, resilient, compassionate, and capable of more than you've ever been told. Let this be your turning point. Let this be the moment you stop apologizing for taking up space and start honoring the life that's still unfolding in front of you. And if the road feels unclear, know that you're not alone. There are others waking up too. There is a community of souls rising beside you, ready to hold space, to reflect light, and to remind you of what's possible. So I'll leave you with this. Take one deep breath. Feel your feet on the ground. Feel your heart beating. You are here, and that is enough. Say it out loud. I trust the process of life. I release what no longer serves me. I open my heart to receive what's next. Let those words be your compass. Let them guide you into the next chapter. And if you're ready to keep exploring, to go deeper into this journey, then don't stop here. There's more waiting. In the next video, we'll dive into the sacred timing, Virgo,